here in Sanya of Hainan's Island over here in China. We're here today with the third of the overall DreamHack Summer Qualifiers, the first one of China. Of course, our first open qualifiers coming on from the Chinese server. I am, of course, Yakuzaku of Yakuzaku, and with me today is El Café con la Curcuma, que es muy energica, Light_VIP. How we doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? We are here 2 days in a row. Yesterday, we did cast the first Taiwan-Hong Kong qualifier. Today, we're here in China. And boy, oh boy, we're gonna need all your energy, people. Because the Chinese StarCraft scene is a little bit different. They have their own server. They have their own SC2 client and mates. We are thrown into the deep end.
Language.
They do. They do. Oh boy.
See if I can translate here. War. That's all I got. Doll.
Oh god.
That's all I got.
Aye. So yes, it is a little bit different. It's for those wondering who, again, like, this isn't something that is very well known, but they do have their own client and everything is in a different language. Everything is just set up differently. You can't just change it into English, which means it's terrifying even trying to invite players or things of that nature. I've got a bunch of screenshots set up to make sure we don't accidentally click the wrong button.
We are very much at the mercy right now of whoever puts down the lobby link first.
Pretty much. In that sense, I did message some of the players, and we are looking to get into our first series, and it will be Wave versus ReWhite.
Okay, of course, ReWhite, not to be confused with White Raw.
Not to be confused with White Idra.
Yep. Well, you never know.
So yeah, a lot of these players are a little bit unknown to us. There are some that we are familiar with that we have seen in other events like ESL Open Cup Asia.
Yeah, of course, I think the big name or the most familiar player around here is Hyperion, who we should be getting into after our opening match here.
Yeah.
We don't get to cast him, I think, as often as we perhaps should, but he is always one of the regulars when it comes to ESL Open Cup Asia. Didn't matter whether it was on Monday evenings or Sunday mornings, always there, and it's always popping off.
Definitely.
Wrong.
He does do well, and that's what I'm excited to see. As thank God! All right, our first step is complete. We made it into the first lobby. We did it.
Wait, I got an invite, and that's you, right? Yeah. Wave versus Yuki, who is, of course, ReWhite.
Yeah, and I'm just letting them know that we are ready.
Jumping right on in here.
Oh god.
Gotta appreciate our admins over here really making sure that we manage to get into a lobby.
Yeah. Shout out to the admins, they're great. They are helping us out as much as they can, and we are just getting into our first series of the day. Again, these players, we're not really too familiar with them. The majority of the well-known Chinese players have already been invited into the main event. Players like Time, like Firefly, Jeshi. So now is the opportunity for some of these more unknowns to really step up.
It absolutely is. Again, something similar to what we had last night in the Taiwan qualifiers. I'm really liking the format that they're using for DreamHack this year. They're not just seeding the top players into the main event. They also are seeding the players who are one step down from that into the close qualifiers. Plenty of opportunity for a lot of these other players.
Definitely, and it also gives us an opportunity to be introduced to them as well, right? Like, that's something about yesterday where we were able to see more of, like, Touch impressed us incredibly yesterday.
I remember
like
how he touched us. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh god. All right, let's get into this.
Let's get into this, shall we? Here we go in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner of My Mandarins aren't good enough to read that. Romanticide, LE, we have the yellow Protoss player coming down from the land of China. He is going to be representing Clan Salt, if I'm not mistaken there. I'm going off of a bit of interpretation here.
SLT?
He is going by SLT. Go by the name of Yuki, but we know him as ReWhite.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player. He is blue, representing himself as well as stats. It is Wave.
I'm just thinking to that stats emote. Stats wave. Wait, it wasn't stats wave, it was stats something, but it was basically him waving.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
A bit of a sore subject, of course. We're massive stats fans, but I believe in less than a week he does start military service.
Oh, is he not already in?
I believe the 18th.
Ah, okay. I read it as 8th initially. 18 makes a lot more sense, so.
Yeah, feels bad, man. But hopefully these two can do stats proud, or at least Wave can. At the moment, of course, we are in a PvP, and things are pretty standard so far. I'm honestly surprised none of these players have gone out with their probe to proxy anything.
Yeah, I think we sort of got a little accustomed to a certain style of PvP rather, on this channel, but you can wave, again, some more unknown players to us. Not showing off too much. Not showing off too much that's distinctive yet. Anyway, this is the first match. I'm not sure if the two of them have played against each other too many times. Could always be trying to just suss each other out.
Yeah. Again, this is something that, there were some really informative and helpful people yesterday when we casted the Taiwan-Hong Kong region. They gave us a little bit of tidbits about some of the players that we didn't know too much about. So, if there's anyone in the chat who may have some of that information, let us know, spread the love. But we do see a bit of a difference. Yuki, or ReWhite, did open up with 2 adepts, wants to be a little bit more aggressive. Meanwhile, Wave being a little more defensive, makes sense, repping stats, if you will, with Stalkers and Sentries on the way.
It is a rather appropriate clan tag in that regard. Gotta say, I'm liking what Wave is doing a little bit more. He has a lot more chances to play this more reactively, right? In Haluk, across the map, he's already about to finish up that Twilight Council. We'll see what upgrade he goes for.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be Blink. Like, that would be the standard thing to go for. But again, yeah. But when, thinking about some of these players or some of these regions, maybe their meta is a little bit different to what we're used to.
But if there's one thing that stays consistent, Blink is kind of the go-to, it seems. Well, This is game number 1 out of how many games we're casting today, so maybe not, but so far, that seems to be the case.
So far, at least. So far. I'm sure we're going to have plenty more PvPs ahead of us.
You saw the path that we had forward. Well, at least we will have a PvZ after this series, but it seems to be predominantly Protoss players who signed up today.
Yeah, for the most part. As we do see, Wave is committing to that Blink. I imagine Yuki is not going to be too far behind as the Twilight Council is on the way. It is a little bit later, unfortunately. Again, he did delay it, but he is getting a little bit of a faster forge.
And it can definitely help out a ton here if both of them are trying to go for timing attacks or what have you. We'll see how aggressive Wave wants to be with his Blink, though. He knows that Yuki is only now starting up that Twilight Council, or starting up that Blink, rather. He didn't have the Twilight Council for the longest time. There's a lot that he can take advantage of here, whether it's kiting, doing Blink micro shenanigans, even just shaving off his opponent's army before the major engagement happens is going to be absolutely massive.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you also have to be careful as well, because they don't have too much vision out on the map. Like, if Wave did go across with his Blink Stalkers, that means that maybe he's a little bit vulnerable to these Glaive Adepts, which still haven't been dealt with. They've been kept alive this entire game so far. I don't know if you noticed, but Yuki even used the recall on them just to make sure they managed to escape. I was shocked when that happened.
I honestly, when I first saw that, I thought, probes? Did Wave lock himself out of what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yuki is taking this very, very seriously. He wants to make sure that those adepts get some value, whether it's from scouting or for drone damage.
Exactly. As at the moment, both players are just scouting each other with their hallucinations. Does look like, there we go, Wave does go for his third base, so does Yuki. Again, really surprised by how passive this has been so far. Are we going to end up in the mid game? Are we going to see disruptors come out?
I feel like I need to take a moment and actually realize the scenario we're in right now. Like, when was the last time we had a PvP when both players were this passive?
I know, right? I think we've been spoiled by patience, you know? We've been spoiled.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, like even Zest plays PvP a little bit more aggressively, or the Protoss players in our region as well, Southeast Asia, you know, Beastork, Starduck. This is as passive as it gets. I say that, maybe I'm saying that a little bit too soon. Yuki is the first one to move out on the map, and so far has been unscouted.
Yeah, his upgrade's just about finishing up here. He's got Blink, he's got +1, but so does Wave. And important to note, Wave has a lot of fitness advantage. Pylon does go down, but a good surround here for Wave.
Oh god, yeah, definitely. Both players are equal in upgrades. Both of them have +1. I just love how Wave's reaction, by the way. The army comes in and he immediately blinks aggressively on top of it.
Yeah, as well.
And I'm like, oh my god, it's like Yuki's being the one aggressive, but Wave's the one with the bigger army anyway. I was a little bit shocked, and yeah, Yuki was forced back.
But not too far back. He did go for the Warp Prism first. Wants to be able to sustain this push, try to at least contain Wave for as long as possible. Charge is going to be finishing up for Wave pretty shortly. And once you have some chargelets act as a bit of a buffer, or to even chase down Stalkers as they blink away, that's when Yuki really needs to be careful of how he engages. He is moving away now, which I think is the right call. Focus a bit more on his economy, on his macro.
Yeah, I was just so impressed by how Wave has really dealt with this, right? Like, he has his main army that was kind of maneuvering, trying to catch that of Yuki. He even split off a bunch of Stalkers because he did see the War Prism as well. He was ready for the War Prism to try to sneak into the main base. Like, he just covered all his bases, and yeah, Yuki was forced back. And now Wave, you know, he's working on his upgrades, as you said. Charge is already done. His production is kicking in. It's great from Wave.
It absolutely is. And we'll say that Yuki has a little bit of a more well-rounded army, and by that I mean he has 1 immortal with his Stalkers versus Wave with 0 immortals.
True.
But that's not going to last for too much longer. Wave already starting up that Templar archives.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Archons, I'm really liking it in this matchup.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? Wave is transitioning from Blink Stalkers into Charged Up Archon, which is a pretty solid composition, right? And what's interesting as well is neither player has opted to go for those disruptors. Yuki is the closest to it with that immortal, but still only 1 immortal.
I feel like there's some disruptor players who would get offended for you saying that they're in the same family or what have you. It's the same tech building. I mean, the production building. So
yeah,
kinda.
Yeah, I guess so. Meanwhile, Yuki is pushing forward in between the bases of Wave. Does have that immortal, pushes on forward immediately. Wave does activate his overcharge, but the shield battery gets focused down.
Very decisive blink here coming up from Yuki, and Wave is starting to lose a lot of ground. And Immortal actually helping out a ton. We're kind of making fun of it a little bit, poking fun of it a little bit. But it is actually just 3-shotting these Stalkers here and there. The rest of the Stalkers for Yuki just about cleaning up, and Wave might have focused a little bit too much on his economy. GG is called. ReWhite, otherwise known as Yuki, takes game number 1.
Wow, GG, well played. That was something that I did notice, that Wave, perpetually throughout the entire game, he was ahead in that probe count. Like, he was focusing on his economy, on his production. Unfortunately, when the army was outside his base, he actually had no vision of it. He had no idea that that push was coming his way. And even though he had a decent amount of shield batteries, I think he had like 4 shield batteries at his third, with an overcharge. Despite that, it wasn't enough.
It absolutely wasn't. May have popped the overcharge a little bit too quickly. I mean, once the overcharge got started, it didn't have much of a buffer around it. It really didn't take much for ReWhite to blink right on top of it, take it out, and just have the superior DPS for the rest of the engagement. Again, never underestimate Immortals when your opponent's composition or your own composition is mostly stalkers.
Exactly. Nicely executed there by Yuki, by ReWhite. And now we are looking to get into game number 2. As I just...
I'll let you know that I've spent maybe 30 seconds trying to come up with a play on words that's like executed and ReWhite, and I just can't. So you could say that build was salty. I was like, wait, no, what?
Oh no. God. What does that mean?
No.
Oh god, but yes, we did make it into the lobby, just letting the players know that we are ready, and ooh, it looks like we are going to be loading into Lightshade.
Oh, I'm already...
Look, mate, look at him go. Look at him go.
I'm loving the Chinese server. I love this already.
Let's go, Yuki.
So
let's go.
Let's go. We jumped into the lobby and immediately ReWhite asks us, oh, wait, I don't think I made this with Game Hard.
Wow, ReWhite is after my heart.
What a legend. What a guy. You really can't take that for granted, though.
Yeah, like, I didn't even notice. I was like, yo, let's go. Wave was ready to go, and then Yuki's like, hold on, guys, do you guys want WCS Game Heart? I'm like, why? Yes, we would. Thank you so much. So considerate.
What a gentleman.
I'm blushing, mate, I'm blushing. That's how you get to my heart. You offer WCS Game Heart, mate. Oh god.
And as my dad always told me, the way to the caster's heart is through Game Hard.
Is that what Milk said?
It's what Steel said. I have a couple of dads. But speaking of dads, we are now continuing our series on Lightshade LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the yellow Protoss player coming down for the land of China. Not particularly sure which area, but I mean, it's a big place. Could be from anywhere. He is going to be representing Team Salt, SLT. You know him as Yuki. We know him as ReWhite.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player. He is blue, doing this for his voice stats. It is Wave.
I'm hoping we do see some disruptors come out this time from Wave.
You
know, follow a little bit in his, or to continue on with the player he's representing right now.
Yeah, just a bit, just a bit. It would be great to see. I mean, oh god, are we refs? Oh no!
I actually can't tell.
I can't tell either.
I think we are.
Are we?
There's a globe sign in one of these, and if I hit tab, then it's people.
Okay, then can you do if they ask to go on, can you do a countdown and I'll try and unpause?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm assuming the unpause button is the pause button.
Yeah, I think this is all chat because I'm going off of the Mandarin characters.
True.
They look to
it's
be
the same. It's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Deduction. Oh boy.
Also, there's a globe, so
yeah,
next to it. So
there is. Thank God.
But then again, it might not be a globe. It might just be. It might be a grenade.
It could.
Something.
It could be the Chinese characters for Spectator. I don't.
It could. I think that's Jia at the end. The last one is pronounced like Jia, Jia. I'm going off of what I learned like 10 years, more than 10 years ago at this point.
I like that you're saying what I learned. Really, it's what you failed to learn. Oh, all right.
3.
Look at that. Oh, synergy, mate.
Beautiful.
Oh, God. See,
Beautiful.
Panic? Nah, mate. There was no panic. We got this.
I was panicking a little bit. I think I was graded once in Mandarin when I was in my first year of primary school, and then after that, it was so bad. The examiners just refused to grade it.
Ay. It's okay. We're all good here. We're all good here. Something interesting that is happening is Yuki does have a probe here in the center of the map. Looks like wants to throw down a proxy pylon. Speaking of proxy pylon, so does Wave.
Yeah, a little bit quicker on the draw here. And you gotta give Wave the advantage here, right? Not only is he proxying in a much more forward location, but he's got the pylon a lot quicker. That probe, not in position though. That can't just be a spotter pylon though, right?
I guess it is.
Why would you position it there?
Yeah, there we go. Pylon is being thrown down for Yuki. I was waiting. Both players, their cyber cores did finish up. If Yuki did want to proxy a robo, then most likely he would have lined up the pylon a little bit better. And so far, it just looks like they are spotter pylons, just to kind of, kind of mind game their opponent a little bit.
Yuki's turning back. Does he see the pylon?
He spots it.
He should. There we go. Be a lot more careful. I don't think he saw the probe though, but he's gonna have to double check regardless. Sorry, it could be the answer here from Wave, and Yuki does not turn around to look at that.
No, he does not. But again, Yuki spotted this. Like, if Yuki just quickly glanced at his minimap, he would see that the pylon has been thrown down. So he knows where he needs to look if he does suspect a pylon. At the moment, he just hasn't gone to confirm. Mate, you see it.
He's not checking every other location right now. Really paranoid about getting proxied, and he's actually getting his own tech in base lane. He is not utilizing that pylon in the middle of the map as anything but a spotter.
Yeah, I'm so worried right now. Like, oh my god, Yuki does shoot first, as he does have the high ground vision, immediately takes out one of these stalkers, but right now he's being distracted, right? These stalkers, sure, they're not doing much damage. They're not meant to. What's meant to deal damage is this Oracle.
And it's already on the way. The stalkers are way far forward of the bases right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just really concerned. Again, I just don't think Yuki noticed. I just don't think he noticed the pylon somehow, some way, even though his unit spotted it. Meanwhile, he is trying to push away these stalkers. Ugh, the stalkers of Wave, a little bit all over the place.
But that's exactly what he wants. He wants to make sure that Yuki is chasing down every single one of these stalkers, no matter where they're from. He does have this Phoenix here, but it's a little bit too late. This Oracle's having an absolute field day.
God, yes, he is, but you know what? Oh god, he was actually just following the probes and it did go down. Did get 5 worker kills, but my god, he definitely could have controlled that a little bit better.
Yeah, decent damage at the end of the day, but now Wave knows what's up, or Yuki rather knows what's up with Wave.
I'm not convinced. There we go. Yuki does
happened to click to move the stalkers in position.
Exactly. He just stumbled upon it. He does depower the Stargate, denies the Void Ray that was going to be on the way, and this proxy will get cleaned up. And what is scary right now is that when Yuki decides to counterattack, he has a way to reinforce across the map.
He does. Of course, those are going to be slow warp-ins, but it's a way to get across the map a lot quicker than otherwise, regardless. Now, Wave is teching up right now, and he is looking to get into the next phase of the game, but he does not want to neglect his army at all. Yuki, as you said, just continue to warp in a little bit here.
Yeah, there we go. We do have a couple of reinforcing adepts. What do we have at home? We have a decent amount of stalkers. As I quickly check the units, we have 9 stalkers for Wave against the 8 of Yuki, so he does have +1 advantage there, and only 1 shield battery though. Oh god.
Yeah, not much of a buffer for it. Once again, really good idea here from Yuki to lift up the stalkers, get it out of position. I do like that Wave isn't panic overcharging over here, but he's just not using overcharge.
Yeah, exactly. It's great that he's not panicking, but at the same time, you got to respect this. Fortunately, he's not using that overcharge. There we go. Finally, it is used. He's not pulling any probes either. I do think he definitely has some to spare, but wow, apparently he just doesn't need them at all.
Yeah, that's quite neat too at the moment. Yuki, his stalkers are very badly bruised. He cannot quite sustain this fight, but now he's going to be able to turn around. Had double the army supply for a while, but even still, he has a slightly better army at the moment, especially with the crowd control available. Stalkers are so low, though.
Oh god, oh so low. They do end up backing off, and Wave does defend. At the same time, those two adepts did sneak past these Stalkers, and they are able to get a couple of probe kills. And this is so important because Wave has been ahead economically almost this entire game, but now that gap in worker count is slowly getting smaller.
Indeed it is. Look at that. Yuki already closed the gap. I tell you what I'm liking even more from Wave. He's just doing it again. First proxy gets scouted, he is just going for another way up north.
Yep, he does have a pylon here. We'll see if he does go back with that probe, if he does opt to go for another proxy. Meanwhile, things are slowly, you know, ramping up, and we're seeing more of the same, right? Wave, he has Blink on his Stalkers, +1 is about to finish up. Still working on his Robo, though, and I don't know if he necessarily wants to move out across the map without a Warp Prism.
Yeah, you really gotta respect the defender's advantage here in a PvP. You need a way of reinforcing across the map. Because without any robo units, if you're going pure Stalker, that is not the most effective or the most beefy army in the world. Unless you're parting and you're able to blink every single one of your Stalkers away.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he isn't looking to be ultra aggressive, but what he is doing is he's denying the third base. And honestly, this is pretty huge, especially because Wave, like, he delays it and he's getting his own.
Yeah, Yuki is now aware of that. The Oracle gonna come in. Do we see the Stasis Ward?
Oh, that we do, but we do have a reaction.
Quick pull. Only 2 probes at the end of the day. Very nicely held here from Wave.
Yeah, really well done there. Did get a Stalker as well. I don't know if that's going to really matter too much, but at least Yuki does keep his Oracle alive. We'll be able to dive in once again. But what's scary is that, again, Yuki is still stuck on 2 bases. Like, he needs to expand.
Does he, though? Okay, he is going to expand regardless. But once again, we're seeing Yuki be the first player to get his Robotech. He's getting an Immortal out right now. A lot later on the upgrades, which is definitely worrisome.
Yeah.
He hasn't even started +1.
Well, he doesn't even have a
I don't think he
forge.
has a forge.
Oh my, that's terrifying, mate. Like, no forge, no upgrades. +2 is about to finish up. Oh my god, people, the Warp Prism, please, puppy.
That was a patience Warp Prism as well.
We see it sometimes where someone makes an observer and they have the Robo rallied, and then they make the Warp Prism, and then it goes where the observer went as well.
Not the most ideal scenario, to say the least.
Feels bad, man.
Push across the map right now. He's going to be very far behind when it comes to the upgrades. But maybe with the Immortal, he's able to get something done. No Warp Prism with his army cannot sustain it for too long.
And what's important to note is that he did it last time. Remember, like, he went in with a bit of a smaller army. He went in with a worse economy, and he was able to take the game off the back of that Immortal. Here, there's only 1 shield battery for that overcharge. The Immortal does need to get a little bit closer. He does need to get into the fight.
It does need to get into the fight, but it's not going to be isolated. The Guardian Shell has already ran out. And Yuki, well aware that he cannot stay here, at least not without a Warp Prism.
Oh god, exactly. And now Wave realizes kind of the lack of defenses that he has. He throws down 2 additional shield batteries. Overcharge was wasted. Ooh, actually forces a recall.
A beautiful Stasis Ward being triggered over there, but unfortunately Yuki was not able to capitalize on that. He is getting a whole lot of probes though.
Oh yeah, these adepts have just been going ham here as 11 probes went down. Yuki was also sustaining some losses, which is why the recall was forced. Unfortunately, if he didn't have to go back for that recall, like, that would have been an amazing position to really push in off of that stasis.
Man, that's how much one recall can really change the way the game goes. Wave's a little bit split up right now in his army, and Yuki did not quite realize that. Wasn't really able to take advantage of that.
Mate, the army's out on the map, and the DTs are split up, and there's 1 DT in each base, mate. There's no cannons, there's no detection. Observer is on the way, but damage is being done.
It absolutely is. Wave is trying to draw Yuki back right now with the Zell run by, but that is absolutely what Yuki wants. He needs to be able to buy himself enough time to get his upgrades in order and buy himself enough time to make sure he has his tech up and running. 34 probes, like,
mate, zero mining.
And of about 30 seconds.
Mate, there's zero mining right now. Nothing is being mined. All the probes are all over the place, and Wave is forced all in.
But he can't even go all in because of the stasis ward. GG is called, and ReWhite. Ah, man. We were worried about the passivity, but it turns out that wasn't all he had under his belt. Well played here from ReWhite.
GG. Well played. And that was what a game. Like ReWhite, he was really struggling a lot. Fun fact, he actually had his forge on the way. He still had +0 upgrades.
He was getting +1 towards the very end there, but yeah. I think it was only about like 30% done by the end of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately for Wave, like he was going for an attack and he just didn't have anything at home to defend, didn't have any detection. He was just completely left so vulnerable to those DTs, and those DTs won ReWhite the game.
It took me a second to process. I heard something different from what you said, but yes, who needs upgrades when DT's one-shot probes like that? Who needs a better army if you can devastate your opponent's economy? Apparently, ReWhite doesn't.
Apparently. Oh my god. But yeah, wow. What a game.